Gentlemen, let's start off with match 5. Match 5 is closing in on us. Nigeria against Mexico. We've played Mexico so many times that it's almost becoming like
we don't know what the first name is.
I mean, it's something that we want to play a game and we just call the Mexicans. Look, let's do it again, sort of thing. But this one is a serious one because this is a build-up to the World Cup.
Are you saying the other ones were not serious?
No, those other ones, you were not really looking at the World Cup at that time. Confederations Cup. They were also going to the Confederations Cup. But this is the bigger stage. This is the biggest of them all.
Very true.
This is the biggest of them all. So players now want to use this to tell their coaches, look, I'm supposed to be on that plane to Brazil. So that's the edge that you have to this Nigeria-Mexico friendly. And everybody that is anybody in Mexico have also been called up. They are also really lining up a strong squad to face Nigeria.
From what we hear, the 40,000 capacity stadium is sold out completely. You can't get tickets anywhere now, and it's been sold out as far back as 3 weeks ago. That goes to show that the tremendous amount of buzz that this particular game is causing
in the United States.
And you know, the United States has a huge Mexican Hispanic population, especially in the same city.
But just across the border.
And so you can expect the stadium to be predominantly filled with Mexicans. It's a good test for the Super Eagles. A lot of people say that, can we play someone else? That there are at least 200 other countries that Nigeria can possibly face. Yes, I agree. But how many of them can offer the kind of competitive test that the Mexicans possibly can? And I think if you have to look at, on the scale of preference, would you rather play Mexico or play Togo? Would you rather play Mexico or play Zimbabwe? Would you rather play Mexico or play South Africa? Colombia is, I think, there are 2 steps above Mexico right now. But the Mexicans are a really, really good test. And in every friendly match, there is always something to be learned. That is my opinion, and I think this is not a waste of time.
I think it's a good test for Nigeria, considering the fact that we played them. So the last time we played them, they ended the game with 10 men, and they were still able to get something out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. They were able to get a draw. It was a 2-2 draw, and we learned so much from that game. We realized that, okay, we had deficiencies in the defense and all that. And the Mexicans too, they had deficiencies too. They probably didn't work on it, and that was why they didn't particularly do well in the Confederations Cup. But this is a bigger test, like you said, for preparation for the World Cup, and the teams really want to play well. They have players that can really match their own anytime, any day. Nigeria, Mexico, the true friendlies. This is the third one that I would know since 2007. First one ended 2-2, second one ended 2-2. This one, who is going to win? And definitely, we talked about the fact that there are so many Mexicans that will be watching the game in the stadium. I can also tell you that there are Nigerians too, because we have high population of Nigerians, and maybe not as much as Mexicans, but then we would have Nigerians supporting Nigeria there, supporting the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So for me, it's a big one. I'm so happy because we're playing friendly matches. Before time, we will not play friendly matches. We will not play big teams or good teams. But right now, we're playing the Mexicans. And afterwards,
this is to be expected because what we're talking about is the biggest stage the World Cup. Countries, even if you on your own cannot put friendly games together, countries will Nigeria are the African champions. I mean, they're very attractive because that is true. You bring a different dimension to the game, something they've never seen before. They want to test themselves against the very best. It doesn't get any bigger in Africa than the African champions. My concern is that I'd really like us to look at some of the more explosive teams that we can possibly meet. I'd have loved us to play Chile, for example. They are actually rated as the most explosive attacking team in South America today. That would give us a magnificent test against what we'll possibly meet against Argentina with Messi, with Di Maria, with Higuain, Aguero. I would have loved to see that. I would also like to see the on and off friendly with Croatia, also very similar in style with Bosnia and Herzegovina that we're possibly going to meet as well. I'm hoping that will probably be sorted out as quickly as possible. Also maybe Saudi Arabia or an Iraq, who are also former Asian champions, someone from the Middle East who can also give us a similar test test.
We can learn from.
Exactly.
The kind of opponents we'll be playing at the World Cup.
Exactly. I mean, once you've come up against a South American, you've come up against someone from the Baltic, and you come up against someone
You
from
know how to adjust your game plan, your tactics.
I think we're playing against the Mexicans because they play similarly to the way the Argentines play. So,
maybe because they're not as good as they used to be. That's the truth. They struggle to qualify from the CONCACAF region, in region where normally they usually stroll through.
Sometimes we don't have
coaching problem. Some players have dropped out. The likes of Carlos Vela don't want to play anymore.
The coach said he's not going to call him up. I mean, even sometimes you could argue that even playing America could be a good test.
It's a better test
for Mexico
because
than all of that.
Because America actually rated higher than Mexico in the CONCACAF.
That's true.
But let's see how it goes. We already know, of course, that apart from the Mexico friendly, there are other plans to play some games like America, play Croatia, and so we're
here in Portugal.
Portugal too. A lot of friendly games still being lined up, and we're sure that some of these games will really put the Eagles in good shape for the Mundial. We want to see a team ready to hit the ground running.
Exactly.
People have talked about the Eagles starting off slowly in competitions. We can't afford to do that at the World Cup. We need to hit the ground running from day one if we want to pick anything out from the World Cup. But let's leave the Eagles on one side. Let's talk about this set of people. These are our ladies. These are the under-17 girls currently in Faro, Portugal. And the good news is that they beat Quaterrense under-14 boys 3-1. And they are going to be playing Spain under-17 women on Wednesday. A couple of friendly games to come through, but they are really settling down in Faro, Portugal. Faro, Portugal was good for the Super Eagles.
Yeah,
it should be good for the girls.
Yeah, it should be good for the girls. Whenever the Super Eagles of Nigeria, or in fact the national teams of Nigeria, especially the men, they play in. They train at Faro, Portugal. But then you talked about the fact that they won a friendly game, and I'm like, wow.
Against under-14 boys.
I'm not surprised.
Under-14 boys.
Yeah,
under-14. So the girls can't beat us.
No.
Even the national team. The world champion.
But in this case,
these are under-17 girls. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Beating under-14.
That is why I said I am not surprised.
Hold on.
Under-17.
These girls are actually, for 17-year-olds, the average African 17-year-old or 16-year-old is obviously much larger, better physically developed than a 14-year-old. So I'm thinking that is how they obviously overpowered them. But in terms of skills and coordination, I'm not thinking the under-17 girls were necessarily better, but the fact that they overcame a tough test, because let's be candid, I played some, all this kick about matches with all these teenagers, 13 years, they are feisty. They are not afraid to show you, to put you on your back, and it's a very, very good test. In fact, you even prefer playing against them than playing against adults, because these ones have no fear. They are willing to try new things. They are willing to take you on and make you sweat for a victory. So it was a good test. The fact that they could come out with a 3-1 win speaks volumes about how this team is developing as a team.
I don't think it's a good test. You're playing against an under-14 team. Under 14 boys that are butter kind of boys.
No.
Against the Spanish girls. That's a real test.
No. At 14.
So you're telling me that a 17-year-old lady can play
European.
Cosmos, no. At 14, these guys have probably been playing football for more than 5-6 years.
Yes, they entered academies
and all of that. But that's not the real thing. I mean, as they said, on Wednesday, these guys will be playing against Spain's under-17 women team. And if you remember what group we are in at the World Cup, you know that they need all the preparation that they can get. And I think by extension, we need to also commend the Nigerian Football Federation for putting this preparation together. It's a long time that we saw girls being prepared this way. In the past, and these guys qualify without kicking a ball.
So you need to prepare like this.
Nation, they've gone on the top of the nation, they've played international friendlies, now they are playing
Was the NSC
global.
Is the NSC part of this?
Aware.
Yeah, I
This is a
I like that. No, I'm just asking because
they've been carried away.
Because Faro also has they also have volleyball facilities as well. I'm just saying.
I overrule you today on that.
Faro also has volleyball facilities.
I overrule you.
I like that.
I overrule you on that. I overrule you on that. All right, but one of which the girls the best of luck.
Yeah.
Balanikil doing a great job with the girls, but the challenge for the girls And according to the charge by the Nigerian Football Federation, they've doubled their bonuses for victories at the World Cup. And that is just to spur them into doing what the guys did. Women always say, what a man can do, a woman can do better. Now let them go and show it on the pitch. Under 17 boys were world champions last year.